Maybe.
Let me be your nerd. Let me be your nerd now. I'll say it, baby, 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 baby. What the hell was that?
Welcome to the Grizzled Geek Podcast, episode 76. I'm Mike.
I'm Doug.
And we're here with your weekly wrap-up of nerd news. We are what the podcast your parents would listen to if they knew how to work the computer. That's us. Normally we'd have Kirsten with us, but she's been out for a little bit now. But she'll be with us next week. So I'm going to plug that show real quick. Next week we're going to be live at PodVCon Spring Break on March 12th. So it'd be the same night, same time as normal. You don't have to go anywhere different to watch it. It's just going to be live streamed through that convention as well. So we'll have bigger group of listeners, probably some more people in the chat. So it'll be a lot of fun, and it's especially awesome because we will be celebrating our 1 millionth view at that convention. So that'll be our 1 million view episode. So we'll take a look back. We're gonna have some special guests on there. Matt and Kyle from Absolute Geek are gonna be over. So it'll be a really special episode next week. I hope you guys all tune in. And, oh, look at that. He's a blast from the past.
Sean,
what's going on, buddy? Yeah, it's going to be an exciting episode. I hope you guys can make it all there and help us along. Everybody's been jumping in. We've put the call out to get us to 1 million views, and it's been working. So I don't know whether you guys have been putting it on the background and just forgetting it. But either way, we're fine with it. You're playing our videos, we're good. So thank you guys for helping us get there. Man, super exciting. Doug, what have you been up to?
not a lot. Dashing a lot.
Way to match that energy.
Yeah.
Super exciting show. What about you, Doug?
Yeah. Yeah. I've been pretty much going out and door dashing every night. We found out that our work is now pretty much permanently work from home.
Yeah, right on.
So yeah, so that's kind of fun, exciting.
That's exciting. Yeah.
Yeah. So we got to figure,
They haven't pulled the trigger on that at my work yet, but it's coming. I have a feeling. I'm hoping.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice.
Permanent office at home. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, and they always give you the caveat of as long as productivity stays high.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Otherwise, I've been making some AOS videos, Age of Sigmar videos.
Yeah, you've been killing it with AOS videos. But I heard we're slowing down a little bit here.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll probably just be doing one a week. It's been a little hard to keep up with 2 a week, especially after I ran through. I had kind of front loaded a few, but I ran through those pretty quickly. Now I'm making each one pretty much the day before. So, I got a Trello board with lots of ideas. It's just finding the time to actually put them together.
Yeah. Steve Clark, welcome. Thank you. Look at this, man. Look at all these people coming in and joining us. Sean, thank you very much for joining us, man. It's good to hear from you, buddy. We went to high school with that guy.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. That's I'm telling you what, it's been kind of crazy. I just put out a video over there on that Grizzled War Master channel.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So reviewing some of the Steamford Games D&D miniature box sets. So
That's cool.
Good stuff. Man, I'm telling you, it's we have a special guest coming on later on the show tonight. So even though Kirsten's not with us tonight, we do have a special guest coming on. So we're gonna be talking about some games from our sponsor, Polyhedral Games, who put out awesome role-playing stuff. We have a new D&D supplement, Tourmaline Valley Tritonia. It's basically going to be a 3-part modules for D&D. They're going to come on and talk about it. We're going to go into a little bit. It's kind of like a Battle of the Bands fantasy Looks like a lot of fun. We'll go over that later on in the show,
Cool.
but it's going to be awesome.
Nice.
Yes. So, exciting show, guys. We got a lot of information to pack into this hour, so let's jump into it, shall we?
Let's go for it.
We are going to talk about, if you can't tell from the background, we're going to talk about conventions. So, last year, we had no conventions, guys. I don't know, there was a little something going on last year.
Yeah, something
Something
weirdness.
closing it all down. But everyone's like, it'll all be better in 2021. It'll all be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually.
New year, new president, new vaccine. Everything's going to be fine. But unfortunately, so far this year, we've kind of missed a few games. Missed a few gaming conventions.
Yeah.
Comic book conventions are being put off. So what exactly are we getting this year? And when are we going to get back to going to conventions and seeing each other in person? That's the big question here. So we're going to talk about a few of them. Now, one of the conventions that me and Doug like going to, if you're a tabletop gamer, the Las Vegas Open is awesome because one, it's in Las Vegas, and two, it's tabletop gaming. So toy soldiers for adults, folks. That's what we do. So we go there whenever we can, but unfortunately, that would have already happened about, was it February when it comes, or March, early March?
The end of January.
End of January. So is that really in a year? Okay.
Yeah.
So
this month would be Adepticon if it were going to happen.
Yep.
But
so both Las Vegas Open and Adepticon didn't happen. Las Vegas Open kind of had a Las Vegas Nopen is what they called it. Just got like an online. They submitted your list that you would have played in the tournament, and then kind of did like a virtual.
Yeah, it was very odd. I didn't understand it until they explained it on their podcast. It's you submitted your list. They played this on Tabletop Simulator. You submitted your list, but you didn't play your list.
No.
The people who were in the tournament played lists, but they played a different list each round. If they advanced the next round, they got a new list or something like that. It was weird.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so it was kind of participating, but...
And it was for charity, so that's cool. They did something cool that way.
Yeah. So no Las Vegas Open, no Adepticon. Those are the big ones for gaming. Yeah. But then we have Gamma and Origins, which kind of go hand in hand by the same group. And Gamma is the Game Manufacturing Association. So it is... it's not an end-user convention. It's for people in the industry. But we still like to go because I was in the industry for quite a while.
Yeah.
And we get to look at all the new good stuff coming out. So, but unfortunately, that was canceled as well. And both Gamma and Origins have been canceled. Although Gamma will have an online event for retailers, so they can actually see some of the new stuff that's coming out.
All right.
So there's that at least. But the big one when it comes to gaming, though, guys, is Gen Con. And Gen Con is the largest gaming convention in the world, and it has been for most of my life, even going all the way back to when it was back in Geneva, Wisconsin.
Yep.
Back in the ancient days, the old days of reckoning.
Yeah.
That's how old me and Doug are. And not to call him out, but Sean too. He knows. He knows. But Gen Con is still happening, folks, as of now.
Right.
They put an announcement out in December, and so far they're still planning on an in-person convention coming up for August 5th through 8th in Indianapolis, Indiana, where it usually is held. But they've postponed registration, and in fact have not announced when it'll be open yet. Normally, you would be able to register. Well, you'd be signed up for hotels. Yeah, you would have had to. If you wanted to have any hope of going, you would have got your hotel by last November, and it definitely would have been registered no later than January. But they've postponed it, and with no word on when registration is going to be open. So, like, I don't know what it's going to be like. You might be like, first off, who's going to be willing to go? Is it going to happen? And if it does, who's going to be able to get in? Right? And they're going to have open it all up for registration, because normally this is one of those things like what Comic-Con got to, where you have to register the year before to basically ensure you're going to be able to get in that next year. But because we didn't have it last year, all the pre-registrations got refunded. So there's no pre-registrations for this year, and registration hasn't opened yet. So, man, if you're looking to get in all the good stuff at Gen Con, this could be your year. If you want
assuming they have, they're going to allow in-person events. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Or whether they'll have reduced capacity.
Right. Yeah. Whew.
That may
That'd
be
be
something.
weird. Could you imagine going to Gen Con if you had the capacity like it did in the early 90s? Where you
Well,
could actually walk around and see stuff?
and that might be something they're looking into is, is it financially viable with reduced capacity? If you can only have 50% capacity, are you going to make any money? All right,
Right.
can you pay for the convention space and all the stuff it takes to get there and whatnot? So, because theoretically that also means you can only have half the vendors that you can have, if any. So that's probably what's going on behind the scenes, I would assume.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious, and I kind of want to go, but also, we're both vaccinated, Doug. We can actually might be able to risk some stuff like that. Especially if it's lower capacity and you can actually get in.
Yeah.
And not have to cattle car your way through the convention. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah.
But that's gaming convention, guys. So pretty much all gaming conventions are shut down except for the big one. As of right now, Gen Con is still happening, folks. August 5th through 8th. We'll see what happens, and we'll see how the registration comes. If they're gonna have a lottery, or they're just gonna open it up, and you just gotta hope to be there.
Yeah, I know Frontline is going to be doing gaming conventions later in the year. Like there's going to be one in, I want to say December in New Orleans.
Nice.
And I'm really hoping that California opens and they can do the SoCal Open in October, because that'd be good. That's just a car drive away for us. So
they got to move all the conventions to Texas. So, yeah, you want to have conventions, you got to go to Texas.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth it.
So what about comic book conventions, Doug?
Yeah.
So Fan Fusion, which is what the Phoenix Comic-Con is nowadays, because Comic-Con International kind of threatened to sue them over using the name Comic-Con.
Yeah.
So now they're Fan Fusion. They actually canceled already, which is odd because last year they held out to the very last minute to cancel. They're like, "There's no way. I gotta make sure that we're
right." Yeah.
So
well, it's supposed to be in May, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably figuring there's not going to be enough restrictions lifted.
Yeah.
To be viable by May, I don't think.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to let you do 100% capacity in the convention center, I'm sure.
Yeah. No. So. Which is sad. I like Fan Fusion. It was here. It was local, so it was
Yeah.
It was easy to go to, but at the same time, I'm like, I would not go to an online Fan Fusion convention, right? Because half the fun of that is it's your local. You can go there,
right?
Walk around and see everything.
Wait a couple of months and do San Diego Comic-Con if you're going to do it online.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So speaking of which, San Diego Comic-Con, Comic-Con International, the big one, the big boy, the largest comic book convention in the world, is already announced that they are going online again.
Yeah.
So it's going to be online this year, despite they actually had disappointing numbers last year. So
here's the thing: is more people are probably now used to doing things online.
Yeah.
So that may help this year. Because there's little to no chance that they're normally in August, right?
Yeah.
So there's little to no chance that by August California will be 100% capacity for conventions. It'll be open. I have no doubt that you'll be able to do things at 50, maybe even 75% capacity. But
which is weird. They did last year. They lost a lot of traction to the DC Universe. So
online.
Marvel pulled out. They didn't have any real Marvel shows because Marvel did their own thing, and then DC did their own thing. And without those two actually promoting their stuff, there was people. What do they have left? They got The Walking Dead and other things. Part of the fun of San Diego Convention is even if you don't get into the convention, which is hard to do when it's actually open, right? You had to register the year before to get in there. But even if you don't get into the actual convention itself, the whole town is a convention, right? Like exhibitors, like take over the park. They take over, the Gaslight District. They, and there's like so many events you can go to. It's like a party in all of San Diego, right?
Well, all of downtown convention.
All of downtown,
yeah.
Right. But again, online, guys.
See you, Sean. See you, Sean.
All right, Sean. Have a good one. All right. So, what does that mean? Because there's not, they've not made an announcement yet, but we're pretty sure this is supposed to be like the D23 year.
Oh, it's next year.
Is it next year?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Star Wars Celebration and D23 are both happening next year.
Are both happening next year? Okay, there we go. So we got another year. That will probably happen then. But
yeah, I have a feeling that we're going to see everything start rolling back in by the end of this year. If there was something that you normally had in October, November, December, it'll probably start rolling in, and then things will pick up in early next year.
So if the Tucson Gaming Convention happens in October like it normally does, we're going to head down there. So starve 2 years without gaming conventions. We're going to
not if
run down there.
Not at Comic-Con, or not if I had Comic-Con. It's the California Open or SoCal Open.
SoCal Open.
We're doing that.
we're gaming somewhere, damn it. I don't know.
It's only like a 7-hour drive, so.
All right. So that was my next question. When do you think the conventions will return to normal, or if they will fully return to normal, will Comic-Con and the like give way to stuff like DC Universe and like D23, and because Comic-Con, and if it does, will Comic-Con kind of revert back to what it originally was comics, right, and stuff like that, but it became a media event thing for the past 15, 20 years. It was basically the latest movies, the latest superhero stuff, and all that now is they're doing it on their own, right?
Yeah. The question will be, I can see DC continuing to do their own thing, doing their DC universe. Here's the problem is there are, in my opinion, two real camps of Disney fans. There are Disney fans, and then there are the extended Disney Plus, all of the Marvel, Star Wars stuff you have. So the Disney, like the true Disney files that are about the parks and about the movie, the animated movies and stuff like that, they're not going to like D23 getting taken over by Marvel. And well, Star Wars has Star Wars Celebration, so that's all right. So it will be interesting to see if we get a Disney Plus kind of break off, Disney Plus / Marvel kind of its own thing, like Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah.
Or if they go back to Comic-Con.
Yeah. Well,
because you don't really need to do Star Wars at Comic-Con. The few things that come out between Star Wars Celebrations, you can just announce as they come up.
Yeah.
You don't need a convention to reveal those things. That's the thing, is one of the biggest deals at Comic-Con was the big reveals, the big teasers, and now nobody can wait that long.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it starts regressing a little bit, where Hall H becomes less important. But I don't think you're ever going to see cosplay and that kind of stuff recede. It may become primarily like a pop culture cosplay kind of convention.
Yeah.
Where comics and games are kind of the background, but it's more about the culture around those, not them specifically. So no, you're not going to ever see a return. In my opinion, you're not going to see a return to the dealer's room being about going to all the different comic booths, finding old back issues, meeting artists and writers. That, they may happen from time to time, but they will not be the main focus, in my opinion. We're just not ever going to see. The unfortunate thing is comics aren't that big anymore unless they lead to a movie.
Yeah, fair enough. Remember the old days? Remember '90s when you walk around Comic-Con in the dealer's room and just like run into artists, like just like
Or,
sitting in a booth.
Mark Hamill walking
Or
around.
Mark Hamill was walking around, yeah.
Putting his name badge on somebody else, going, "Look, everybody, it's Mark Hamill."
Yeah, that kind of stuff wouldn't happen.
No,
It can't happen nowadays. So,
yeah.
all right. Now I've depressed myself about conventions. Tell us about something exciting, Doug. Talk to us about Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yeah, this is all right. By now, probably everyone has heard that we're getting a D&D movie. But what kind of movie are we getting? So far, we have Chris Pine set to star, and he'll be joined by Michelle Rodriguez, most recently from Fast and the Furious movies, Justice Smith from Detective Pikachu, and Regé-Jean Page, or Page, I don't know, from Bridgerton. The creators, John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein, are best known for comedies like Game Night. And now we have IT. Yeah, remember when Lord and Miller were going to do a Star Wars movie? Now IT star Sophia Lillis joins the cast as a character named Doric, and the main bad guy, Forge Fletcher, will be played by Hugh Grant. So, yeah.
First time checking those names. Forge Fletcher is the main bad guy, and Doric is one of the characters.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me. That's less weird as something Tony would come up with. So,
like frog flipping. That's an actual character in one of our D&D games, folks. Frog flipping. Yeah. Hugh Grant is the main bad guy, Doug. What do we think?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what we thought.
Yeah, if they go the comedy route, I'm out. I don't care. I won't go.
I don't want to see it.
I'm not interested in seeing it. I don't want to reward them for ruining.
For ruining stuff. Like, no.
I don't mind if there are comedic elements to it. That makes, we've seen it with Guardians of the Galaxy. That can make a good movie. But, add little levity to the seriousness. But I want a real quest, I
can't imagine a movie with Hugh Grant playing a character not frog flipping, that's our character.
Forge Fletcher.
Forge Fletcher. Some other alliteration. As a bad guy and it not be a comedy. Especially when you start putting all the pieces together and see who's putting it together.
Yeah.
Is this another big budget flop? Is this going to be as awful as the first D&D movie was? At least they try to take it seriously for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless they go like the whole kind of Jumanji route, right? Where they have like the characters playing D&D, kind of like the old cartoon, and they get sucked into the game as their characters.
Yeah, and who knows? I guess you could go that direction and say maybe Forge Fletcher is just a pseudonym that's not real. It's not actually, this is just we're hiding who it is, and it's actually going to be Venger. Is that the guy?
Venger. Come on, think of bad guys like Venger and Lord Soth, and then you think, Forge Fletcher.
If they went the old classic cartoon route, that was basically a comedy. So, okay. Mm-hmm. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
And, that only leaves the Ranger for Chris Pine to play.
Yeah, you definitely
because they're not going to make
Cavalier.
They're not going to make the Cavalier the star.
Well, I'm not saying they have to use those characters, although that would be awesome thanks to that foreign Audi commercial that they had.
Yeah.
That looked awesome. But something along that lines where they kind of get pulled in.
Yeah. But, I don't have high hopes now that you've laid this on me. I'm like, come on. Really? And here's the thing. It's the Hugh Grant casting.
Yeah.
I'm okay with somebody who's done a comedy before venturing into something else.
Hugh Grant's done nothing.
Look at Taika Waititi and everything he's done for Star Wars and Marvel. And you're like, there's been funny moments, but they're amazing. They're awesome. They're action packed. So I would give these two guys a chance. But then you throw in Hugh Grant to the mix. I'm like, he's not. He's the rom-com guy. He's not done anything of a serious note that I'm aware of. Not that I've paid much attention to Hugh Grant.
Yeah, I was going to say I wouldn't tell you.
So, anyways.
All right, fair enough. Well, we got Weeb World here. Do we want to go about this, or we want to kind of?
Not if we're going to get to our guests in time. So let's
jump right over to our smaller stories, our geek bites, our nerd nuggets, if you will. And first up on the nerd nuggets, we got a story from our good friend Charlie Tango, who's actually not in the chat with us tonight, but he gave us a story here, or at least put us onto it. Rumors of X-Men coming to the MCU. So, according to the Illuminati, Marvel is moving forward with a new feature titled The Mutants, which will finally introduce X-Men into the MCU. So instead of having an X-Men movie, having The Mutants, right? And then kind of like introduce maybe not just the X-Men, but mutants across the board. Again, Illuminati's come out with quite a few good leaks in the past, but this is still one of those grain of salt, we're not sure, it's not 100% kind of thing. What do we think, Doug? The Mutants.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm excited to see X-Men in the MCU, but I don't know about this, The Mutants. That just, where are we going with that? Come on, everybody wants to see Professor X, Wolverine, Magneto, stuff like that. So I don't know where unless they're going to set them up as, I don't know. I don't know where you go with that.
Unless they're not calling themselves the X-Men, kind of like,
you're building towards the Avengers.
You're building towards, they have these mutants in here, but they haven't named their team, right? You know. So I don't know. We'll see. They kind of allude to them.
Yeah. Here's the problem with, especially over the last 20 years, the X-Men are almost separate from the rest of the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
They tend to stay away unless there's some big crossover event. Wolverine and the Beast get involved, but that's about it.
All I know is that I want X-Men in the Marvel universe, so the Russo brothers come back and direct a Secret Wars movie. Because I want a full-on Secret Wars movie, and I want Beyonder with a perm and the a big flowing 80s tracksuit, the whole bit. Full-on Secret Wars, but all right. The Mutants may be coming. We'll see.
Yeah. All right.
Tell us about something good, something a trusted.
Speaking of Lord Miller, a Silk Spider-Man spinoff reportedly heading to Amazon. Sabrina's Adeline Rudolph looks to as the top contender to star. The series has the Walking Dead writer Song Ki Kim on board as showrunner and executive producer, along with Chris Miller and Phil Lord.
Yeah.
So Lord and Miller are just producers. So there's that.
So hopefully they, they're not trying to write this. Silk's a good character. As we've already said, Sony should be spinning off these Spider characters instead of trying to use Spider-Man like they've been trying to do.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, all right.
It's Amazon, and it's not just Sony, so...
Yeah,
I tell you what, I'm more excited at this than I am for Mobius, so... That's what
all right. True.
That's all I gotta say.
True.
next, we're going to go over Thor: Love and Thunder. Dropped a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes images here. We actually got confirmation of his goats. We actually get to see his goats behind the scenes. I mean, we're getting to the point where they're getting so much stuff. I was going to show them, but I'm not going to because we got some guests coming up here. But I almost don't want to know anything else about Thor: Love and Thunder because they're actually starting to spoil some stuff, right? Like we've got images of Jane Foster kind of like flying around. We've got images of the goats. We got images of the same actors coming back who did the play in the last movie. Only Hella's going to be back, and Melissa McCarthy is playing Hella. So, yeah, so that'll be hilarious. We got Valkyrie all suited up. So there's a lot of behind the scenes images. They're out there. I don't want to. So you don't want to spoil them. If you guys don't want to go be spoiled or go check it out, you can. If you want to find them, they're out there online. Thor: Love and Thunder behind the scenes. But yeah, that's out. Doug.
Oh, last story. In addition to the Obi-Wan series, Ewan McGregor will have a recurring role in the Rogue One spinoff Andor as well, which sounds awful. I don't want that.
You don't want Obi-Wan in Andor?
No. Obi-Wan should not leave Tatooine. And nobody should know he's there except for...
you don't think he's going to leave Tatooine in the movie? In the series, I mean?
Well, I hope he doesn't. That's the problem.
Yeah, the Obi-Wan novel took place all on Tatooine.
All on Tatooine, yeah. So, yeah, I know he's popular, and I love Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan. He was perfect, but I don't want them to just jam him in there for whatever reason. He's popular. Let's get him in there. Because I think you're going to find that's going to piss Star Wars fans off more than it's going to help you.
Yeah.
So, I don't
know. Matt from Grizzled Geek Podcast. Welcome, buddy. He's going to be on our show next week, our 1 million view show.
Nice.
At the convention. So, like I said, it'll be lots of fun, guys. All right. We got a couple guests coming up here, special guests to talk. We have Dean and Clipper from Polyhedral Games, who are here to promote a new product they have coming out here. So let's add him in here. Hey, Clipper. Hey, Dean. How's it going?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, guys.
Welcome to the Grizzled Geek, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I think the real question is who's going to play Warduke in the D&D movie, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if they start announcing that Warduke, and I'm like, okay, I'm there.
Vin Diesel as Warduke.
Oh, yeah. Then I'll take Hugh Grant if we get that.
Hugh Grant as Warduke.
Just to see him dressed up like that with the shirtless with the helm and the. Awesome. So, guys, welcome, Polyhedral Games. You guys have been successful. Tell us about your Clipper. Tell us about your company here, and then we'll jump into your Dean's modules.
Adventure module, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I lost my mind.
Sure.
What is the game thing we play?
Yeah, so Polyhedral Games is a independent tabletop games company. I'm running out of Brooklyn right now. We had a successful Kickstarter for a game called Justice Velocity, which is a Fast and Furious themed high octane tabletop RPG. We got some other stuff in the works, but the main thing that we got coming up is Tourmaline Valley Tritonia, issue number 1, which comes out on March 17th. So a week from next Wednesday.
Nice. Awesome. So, this is working here. That almost worked for a second. Hang on. All right. So, Tourmaline Valley, Tritonia. This is going to be. This is kind of a fantasy kind of battle of the bands scenario. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So it's part 1 of 3 of Battle of the Bands scenario, where the you play the characters play a struggling touring band that has been going town to town the last few years to try to get some sort of following, some sort of make a name for themselves in this world. So they defend, their musical honor against the other bands at the Wadham Swamp.
Nice.
Which is.
I love this art, by the way. I was gonna tell you, I've been looking through the adventure.
Great.
The first one here, and I love the art of. Everybody knows that the bard player in their group. Just imagine like a whole adventure of them. I just kind of got excited about it.
Yeah, the artist is Soren Kerr. They're on Twitter, and we can link their profile if people want to see more of their art. They collaborated with Jordan Bohannon, which we could also link for you, who did all the graphic design and did this background layout. And Jordan is a physical artist, so he uses a lot of screen printing by hand. So a lot of this was actually printed, reprinted, worked around in Photoshop, and kind of done physically with his hands as well as digitally, which is a really unique aspect of it.
Yeah. So I love the actual physical art.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it, I mean, everything's digital nowadays, but you always kind of tell someone, who's actually someone put pencil to paper for that.
Yeah, definitely. I think it came out really nice.
Yeah.
And we think the green really works with the swamp theme of the Battle of the Bands.
Tell them what WADIM stands for.
Yeah, WADIM. It's the acronym for "What are you doing in my?" So it's Wadham Swamp, and so there's a bit of a
nice
stupid reference there, which
are
are colored. Yeah, so there's a lot of those colored throughout the entire book. Some Easter eggs, so a lot of stupid jokes like that.
Yeah, and it's basically like instead of just one bard character being the one to get into stupid hijinks throughout the group, it's spreading that throughout the group, so everyone's in the band together, and they're all sort of like doing, in this one at least, they have like a Scott Pilgrim style Battle of the Bands type of thing where they're blasting like kinetic riffs at each other and trying to like one up each other. And then there's also like D&D high fantasy type of stuff where they have to like hunt down like some stolen goods and fight some stone golems and shit like that. So
nice.
Yeah, there's some high fantasy elements. There's a lot of role playing in this though. The book itself has a lot of direction for how to make the performance itself interesting for the players, and as well as other types of encounters that happen. I was going to say,
this is worth its money all on its own just for this, band name generator. Yeah.
Y'all should do one right now. You should roll one right now.
Roll one right now.
There you go.
Pick a band. Let's do it.
Let's do it right here. Got my dice right here. All right.
Yeah, we could walk through this. That'd be fun.
Nice. All right. So, roll a d12. Choose a name format. 12. Number of your favorite book, play, or film. Name of the favorite book, play, or film. All right. Awesome.
So
I think that's it. I think you just picked.
There we go.
That's it. So, skip to number 4. You see repeat until you find a name that speaks to you. So roll that dice again.
All right. Here we go.
You don't seem stoked about that, so let's do it again.
Let's go. 4. Acronym of 4 words. Nice. DTSM. Nice. Yeah. Look. Wow.
I'm glad you caught that joke.
Yeah. Like it's like I just read. I'm like, okay. Yeah. I mean, this is just going through just thumbing through this adventure here. It's got a ton of cool little stuff like this. Yeah. Oh my goodness. You see, there we go. Let's look at some of the art here, right? So, it's optional rules here, and this is very well laid out, right? This is a full on.
Yeah, Jordan did a great job making it look really clean and unique. There's a lot of good breaks on the pages, so it should be really readable for DMs alike.
Yeah. This is awesome here. Rival band history. I mean, there's a lot of great little stuff like this, like these charts in here that just make it a lot of fun as I was going through this. But yeah,
when you're a DM, you're so stressed about making sure that everything is logical that sometimes you need a little helping hand, making it a little more interesting. Sometimes.
Exactly.
So what I try to do is throw in a few options for people to make it a little more interesting without kind of forcing the story to be one way or the other.
Yeah. Well, there's like that one where it's like, so your rival band starts a rumor about your band. And there was originally like a very specific rumor in the drafting stage, but they changed it to make it more open-ended. I don't know if you want to talk about this at all, T.
Yeah, definitely. So if you go to page 11 there, you'll see rumors spread by Hank and the Hecking Hecklers, who are your number one rival in this whole band. They're kind of like your Team Rocket. Like they're a rival,
exactly.
but they're not. You know, they're
something from the burn book from Mean Girls. Nice.
Well, when I originally wrote this, I had that. Which number is it?
Is it on the table there?
Yeah, number 3. So if you roll a 3,
the band drinks each other's pee before shows as a pre-showed ritual.
and Clipper thought that was hilarious.
I thought
Yeah,
that was so
awesome.
funny. Especially just like your players being like, "What? No, we
What?
don't."
No, I don't. Well, yeah. It's like, that's what I heard, guys.
So yeah, it's a lot of there's a lot of call outs, and it's like very much like Scott Pilgrim, Spinal Tap.
Scott Pilgrim was what I
There's a
thought
lot
of.
going on there.
Just reading this is what I thought. In my head, I'm picturing Scott Pilgrim. Yeah, I mean, this looks like a lot of fun, guys. So, how do people get this? How can they support you?
You take that one, Clip.
So it's coming out March 17th.
March 17th.
A week from next Wednesday. For Wednesday, everyone's favorite RPG day, everyone's favorite new day to pick up RPGs. Am I right?
Well, it's the day when you're like, oh, I have to do a session this weekend and I haven't written anything yet. Let me see if there's anything online.
That's what it is.
I was gonna say that's where
So
Wednesday's when it hits the fan. You're like, okay, gotta find something.
yeah, and this is something new, novel, interesting to bring to the table. I think Dean also originally said that he really has this idea of like touring bands actually playing it in the van while they're touring, which is like kind of a cool idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, it comes out on the 17th. We're doing a digital only release at first on Drive-Thru RPG. And I think there's talks of having it be like a physical edition at some point, like probably when all 3 of them come out. So I won't say too much on that. But yeah, it's going to be up on Drive-Thru. It's going to be $3. What else?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess since it's not available right now, if anyone is watching this and is like so stoked, really into it, how do I hear more? I would just say subscribe to our newsletter on polyhedragames.com or follow us on social media at polyhedragames. And we'll be posting about it like roughly 1 million times if you want to hear about, when it comes out and everything.
Go check them out, guys. And for all of you people listening out there on Spotify and Deezer and every place else you get your podcast, which is, frankly, the majority of you, we know we have faces for radio. We got it. We know the number of people listen to us versus watch us. We got it. We'll also have all those links on this starting tomorrow. We'll have the links on this if you want to come to the YouTube page and check it out there. Or, like I said, check it out at Polyhedral Games. We'll make sure you get a chance. If you guys like this, it sounds fun. Make sure you get a chance to find it. So, yeah, because $3, man, this is a good deal. It's a fun little adventure. I mean, this is one of 3, right? So there's going to be like 2 more chapters of this, right?
Yeah, it is one of 3, but I do want to emphasize I had a few play testers do this in the middle of an ongoing session that they'd been running for a while. Mm-hmm. And they found it very easy to insert it just within their story as kind of a side quest. So I hope that all three could kind of fill that role in Dungeon Masters, Game Masters.
So it's a fun little side quest.
Schedule.
You can fit in this first story, and then when the next one comes out, you can fit in a little bit later in the campaign.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the idea. But if people want to start out a session and start with this, I think there's a lot of material you could either run with it yourself or wait for all the sequels.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it is aimed at first level characters, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
Awesome.
also like, I mean, one of the big things is like, it kind of simplifies in some ways the idea of music performance. So basically, I don't want to give too much away, but I mean, basically, you start out the game, you tell players they're making a game for a regular D&D game, and then you're like, bam, you're also musicians, pick a fucking instrument, or I don't know if I
Nice.
can say that word on
Nah,
here.
you're fine.
Pick
We
an
got-
instrument, get ready to go, that type of thing. And then, what is it, Dean? They all have, like a bonus to their performance skill or something like that.
Yeah, they all get well, these are optional rules, but of course, but just to make it a little more exciting for people who want to play different versions of a musician, they don't have to play the classic bard entertainer,
Yeah.
build. They could build we hope that this encourages people to build, any type of race class that they want and still have an opportunity to perform well.
You can't
On
tell me
stage.
a barbarian doesn't know how to drum. Come on.
So everyone gets a instrument of their choice that they could be proficient in, and they get the performance skill as a free skill on top of what they've chosen so far. So we hope that encourages some unique builds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
And
I
there
don't
are
know if we...
other rules sprinkled throughout there to make it a little more fun as well.
Yeah, and I forgot. I guess it's implied, but this isn't 5th edition D&D. So I mean, we're hoping that like people who are just coming to it or who are already familiar with like 5e will pick it up pretty easy and everything as well.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I like about it is the fact that it is geared towards lower level games, right? And everybody knows a first level game is kind of rough, right? You're swinging, doing 4 points of damage, right? It kind of gets repetitive early on in those first few levels, and this is a fun way to get them in there and doing something a little bit different than just I swing at the goblin,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I like about it. It gives them early on in the game something fun and unique that you don't see
Yeah.
in those early on like that.
Yeah.
Different
and-
way to earn your XP,
Yep.
Totally.
that early XP you need.
And I think it's really prone to encouraging role playing too, because it's like, I don't know, like, I mean, obviously there's a lot of like easy role playing fantasy elements that you can figure out from slaying rats in the old man's basement or like killing goblins in a dungeon and stuff. But there's also a lot of fantasy if you mix that with being in a touring band, and then you have to deal with people being prima donnas, like some guy who doesn't know how to play his lute too well,
Right.
stuff like that.
My favorite part about it is that this story all started with a brand new group who had never played D&D before. They asked me to
Nice.
DM for them, and I was like, sure. So we were creating characters, and I was like, okay, let's get to the part where we're all, how are we all together? And they're like, oh, we're a band. And I was like, what? They're like, yeah, we're
Yes,
a
you
band.
are.
Yes.
I was like, do you all want to re-roll and be like entertainers then? They're like, no, it's fine. And I was like,
No.
I'll try to help you up. I'll try to help you as much as I can. And this is what, this is what came out of it.
Nice.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah, those are some of the best adventures that they come out like that. You get thrown for a loop and you just roll with it, and and it's a
Yeah.
lot of fun. This game looks like a lot of fun, guys. Super excited about it, guys. So make sure you check it out, Polyhedral Games. Check out our links below. We'll have links below. Starting later tonight once I get them in there. And all of you guys listening, like I said, out there, podcast land, come check us out on YouTube. and check out the link right through there. So
Or just find these guys at Polyhedral Games.
At
You'll
Polyhedral
be
Games.
you'll be able to find them.
Yeah, that's awesome, guys.
Yeah.
What is there? You got anything else exciting coming up here? I mean, how's
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've really talked too much about any of this yet, but there's a collector's cover of Justice Velocity coming out that's like a cool black and white motorcycle helmet thing.
nice?
Probably gonna have some extra content in there. And then there's a closed alpha for Nebula Chaos, which is like a sci-fi adaptation of the Justice Velocity rules. And I'm also working on do you guys know Mork Borg or Merc
Yeah.
Berg? You've
Yep.
heard of that?
Mark Borg, yeah, the German.
Oh, good.
It's such an awesome game. It's like very dark, grim D&D. Yeah.
So
I think what
good.
it stands for, like Dark Forest in German or something like that.
Dark Fort, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a third-party module for that as well.
Nice.
About a dark, mysterious plague, which is a little too real, I guess, for some people. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm doing a little disclaimer about that. But it's basically there's like a plagued boar who rampages into town, and the adventurers got to like figure out, the source of the disease and venture into this like hellish dungeon. And it's just like a, classic dungeon crawl, but with a bunch of like weird, nasty metal shit going on too. So
Nice. I like Mark Borg is one of those. Like I could never get my players to play something like that, like grim dark, because we play more high fantasy in the games that I run. But I always love that hardcore kind of old school feel.
yeah, it's
And
super
then-
tight.
And the art is amazing in that book.
Oh yeah, it looks. I don't want to be mean, but it looks way better than it is as a game. It's still a great game. Don't get me wrong,
Right? Yeah.
but
But-
it looks amazing. And but the game itself, I mean, I think if you have the right group, it's like a really really fun game.
Yeah.
Especially if it's people who are into like OSR or like OSR style stuff, because it's very much just like cracking skulls, rolling dice, that type of thing. So
Yep. Yeah, it's one of those stripped down old school, D&D type games. So yeah, that's really awesome. Well, that is awesome, guys. And go check out Justice Velocity, guys. We actually filmed a video of us fumbling our way through the early edition rules for Justice Velocity before it came out.
yeah, the beta rules.
The beta rules, yeah.
Yeah.
We had a blast with it.
What's that?
Was this the semi truck scene?
Yeah.
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 So good. You guys killed it.
Yeah, it was great. I think
Yeah, it was
Doug
pretty cool.
played a face character.
Yep.
I think so, yeah.
So yeah, you want to check that out? We have that over on our Grizzled War Master page with a link down below. So you want to check us out, watch us play Justice Velocity. But yeah,
That game belongs on the highway. You guys did it right.
yeah. It was made for a chase scene, right? That's the
totally.
whole. If you don't have a chase scene in your adventure, you're doing it wrong. That's, especially with those rules, it's pretty awesome. But yeah, guys, check out Polyhedral Games. We'll have a link down below. Go give these guys some support. Clipper needs the money before he gets into Warhammer. Spend all
It's like crack. There you go.
Plastic crack, look at
there
these.
you go, Clipper.
Well, guys, thanks for coming on. Is there any last minute shout outs or anything you want to do? Anything you want to say?
I don't just check out the website, check out the game, check out everyone who worked on it, because it was actually a lot of people.
Yeah.
So they'll be all in the credits or everything as well. So yeah, and thanks for having us on, of course.
No, anytime, guys.
Yeah, this was great.
We appreciate it. Thanks for sharing this with us, because I gotta tell you, man, it was a joy early on. Like I spent my day. I was supposed to be at work, and I was on, in meetings, and I was actually reading this on the side. Reading this adventure. I'm like, I'd be giggling, and they'd be like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "Oh, nothing." I forgot to mute myself. No big deal.
What was your favorite part, Mike?
My favorite part is I don't want to give anything away, but let's see.
Go ahead. Spoil it for everyone.
You're gonna spoil it for everybody? Okay, let me pull it up here. I'll show you. What did I do with it? Oh, there it is.
You said he liked the band name generator.
Yeah, the band name generator was like one of my favorite parts, but the thick swamp is I had to make sure I got the name right. I had to look it up here. Yeah, the devil in the swamp part was but that's what I cracked out at work about, was like when I started read the thick swamp.
The thick with two C's.
Two C's, thick swamp.
Thick swamp, baby.
And that's what I laughed. I had to find where I laughed out loud, and that was it. The thick swamp.
I was like, you got the swamp, and then you got the dangerous swamp, the thick swamp.
And then the thick with two C's swamp. That's
exactly.
Man, it's awesome, guys.
Well, thank you for having us. Really appreciate it.
No problem,
Yeah,
guys. Anytime you got something new coming out, let us know. Come on, we'll put you on the show.
Yeah. We're all tuned into the Age of Sigmar videos now that I just heard about it. So
yeah.
Cool.
We'll watch it.
Yeah. Doug's been crushing it on the Age of Sigmar videos. Want to know anything about that? Check it out. It's the Grizzled War Master, guys. Also, guys, if you want, make sure you join us next week. Same time, same place. You're not going to do anything weird, but we're going to be on PodVCon Spring Break. It's a podcast convention, so we're going to be live streamed out with them as well. So we have a bigger audience. And it's going to be our celebration of 1 million views, guys. 4 years, 1 million views. So it's going to be a look back. We're going to have some special guests on there from some of the other podcasts, some of our friends we met in the industry here. It's going to be a celebration. It's going to be a lot of fun. Be sure to join us. And then, unfortunately, after that, we're probably going to take a couple-week break because I got to pack up the studio here because I'm actually moving. So, and as you can see behind me, there's a lot of stuff to pack up in the studio here. So, yeah, that might take me a little bit to get it all
A lot of knickknacks
boxed up and labeled correctly so I don't lose it when I get to the new place. Yeah, but sure, check out that show, guys. If you want, all of you guys, thank you, by the way. We brought our 15 Belgian listeners are back, Doug. They're listening to us on Spotify. We got 15 guys in Belgium that regularly watch our show. We went down to about 10 for a couple weeks there, guys, but not sure what you're doing, but you're back, and we appreciate you. We see you there. Also, we're getting a lot of comments. I'm actually checking my Grizzled Geek email regularly now, so we're gonna be answering some questions we got in next week's show as well. So be sure bring those in. Anything you want on the air for our 1 millionth view celebration. Be sure to send those. Also, what else? There was something else. Oh, well, probably wasn't important.
WandaVision finale coming out soon.
WandaVision finale, yes, exactly. Me and Doug haven't watched it yet. We're going to be watching it right after this and reacting to it. So that reaction will come out. Hopefully, Sunday is the goal. Last week, it was really hard to get out. For some reason, YouTube was very picky about getting that one out. So it got edited 4 times before we were able to get it out there for you guys. Those reaction ones are tricky. So, but it'll be out there. What are your top 26 favorite Motley Crue songs in alphabetical order? Good question. Tune in next week. We'll but guys, yeah, we'll definitely be there. We'll have, like I said, a special guest. Thank you for everybody who's helped us get to those 1 million views. I know we've been putting the call out since Christmas, and you guys have responded. Some of our old videos are getting tons of views. We're getting questions on videos that I forgot I even made. I'm like, you're asking me questions I'm like, I had to really think about. I'm like, what? We watched what? Oh, yeah. Like 2 years ago we watched that. Okay. But yeah, I'm getting all the questions answered, slowly but surely. But if you want to support the channel, please like, subscribe, share with your friends. And if you like our content and you want to support us, Doug, what are those links below?
Well, aside from the links for Polyhedral Games, you'll also find a link to our Patreon page, our Teespring store, and most importantly in the COVID times is that Amazon affiliate link. Just click that before you do your Amazon shopping. It doesn't cost you anything. We get a kickback.
That's right. We get some of that Bezos money. All right. Dean Clipper, thank you for joining us. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.